The movie begins with a violent action set piece. Blade storms a vampire nest in the back alleys of New Orleans, slaughtering a dozen vampires in brutal, stylish combat. As the last one dies, he notices strange glowing runes carved into the walls, written in an ancient language that predates vampire history. The runes pulsate with dark magic, hinting at something far more sinister than ordinary vampires. Blade, suspicious, takes photographs of the symbols before torching the nest. Blade returns to his underground safe house, where he works with Zoe Whistler, played by a young actress like Kelly Spaney, daughter of his late mentor Abraham Whistler. She's a skilled hacker and engineer, continuing her father's legacy of helping Blade. She shows him decrypted files her father left behind, referencing an apocalyptic prophecy, the coming of a Blood King who would unite all vampires under one throne. Blade dismisses it as myth at first, but the runes match the prophecy's symbols. Elsewhere, a secret gathering of surviving vampire leaders convenes. The council, weakened since Blade's campaigns, fears extinction. Enter Varney, the legendary first vampire, grotesque, ancient, and far more powerful than Dracula. He speaks through a skeletal husk, not yet fully revived, promising the vampires a new golden age if they help restore him. The vampires agree, terrified yet enthralled, swearing allegiance. Blade reluctantly visits Dr. Strange at the Sanctum Sanctorum. Strange warns him that the runes belong to blood magic older than recorded history. If Varney returns, he won't just threaten humanity. He could tear open dimensional barriers, allowing vampiric entities from other realms to enter Earth. Strange offers help, but Blade rejects mystical aid, saying, "I don't need sorcery. I need sharpened steel." In a chilling sequence, fanatical humans, known as the Blood Cult, raid blood banks and hospitals across New Orleans. They drain the blood supply, chanting in tongues, carrying out rituals for Varney's awakening. The cult is led by Lady Nyx, a vampire sorceress who is as seductive as she is ruthless. She is the key to restoring Varney, using blood sacrifices and necromancy to fuel his resurrection. Zoe convinces Blade to help train a group of young vampire hunters she's been gathering online, and new Night Stalkers. Blade is distant, harsh, and often cruel in training, refusing to get attached. He tells them bluntly, "Don't look at me as your leader. I'm the last thing standing between you and a coffin." The recruits admire him, but struggle under his uncompromising discipline. Lady Nyx completes the first stage of the ritual, unleashing a crimson storm over parts of New Orleans. Rain mixed with blood infects ordinary humans, turning them into feral half-vampires that attack everything in sight. The city plunges into chaos as Blade and his new hunters are forced into urban warfare, mowing down waves of blood-crazed civilians while desperately searching for the cult's ritual site. Blade learns from Strange that Dracula's essence never truly died in Blade, Trinity. Instead, fragments of his soul were scattered across the earth. Varney's return would reassemble these fragments, resurrecting Dracula as his right hand. This revelation shakes Blade. He may soon face two vampire gods, both stronger than anything he's ever fought. The FBI and a covert SHIELD division called Dark Ops begin pursuing Blade. They see his killings and the rising chaos as destabilizing, painting him as a rogue vigilante. Public perception turns against him. Some view him as a terrorist. Blade is forced into hiding, relying on Zoe and his hunters for cover. His war is no longer just against vampires. It's against human institutions, too. During a raid on a cult safe house, Blade discovers that one of his own young recruits has betrayed him, lured by Lady Nyx's promises of eternal life and power. This betrayal gives the cult the location of Blade's safe house. That night, Varney's servants attack in overwhelming numbers, breaching Blade's stronghold in an explosive, high-octane battle. In a brutal assault, Zoe is severely injured by Cursed Blade. Though Blade fends off the attackers, the betrayal enrages him. He blames himself for allowing people too close, fearing he's cursed to lose everyone he cares about. With Zoe near death, Blade vows to end Varney at any cost, even if it damns him. Blade and Strange travel beneath New Orleans, where ancient catacombs house Varney's resting place. These tunnels are filled with demonic traps, swarms of mutated vampires, and rivers of blood. Blade faces hallucinations of his past victims, designed to break his will. He pushes forward, reminding himself that his rage is all that fuels him now. Despite Blade's intervention, Lady Nyx completes the ritual. The earth trembles, walls crack, and Varney rises, a towering, grotesque figure with pale, corpse-like skin and glowing red eyes. He radiates an aura of ancient dominance. His very roar shatters stone. Varney announces that humanity's time is over. The age of vampires has begun. Blade launches into combat against Varney, wielding all his weapons and fury. But Varney is no ordinary vampire. He shrugs off silver and stakes, overpowering Blade with ease. Strange intervenes, using magic to hold Varney at bay, but the vampire nearly crushes him. Blade retrieves a weapon Zoe had designed, a bloodsteel sword infused with mystical properties, their only hope. Nyx reveals she never intended to serve Varney. She uses a forbidden spell to siphon part of his power into herself, transforming into a monstrous vampire sorceress. The battle turns three-way, with Varney furious at Nyx's betrayal, and Nyx desperate to become the new Blood Queen. Her magic destabilizes reality itself, ripping New Orleans apart with storms of fire and blood. Strange warns Blade that killing Varney outright could unleash his blood curse on the world permanently, infecting millions. Blade is torn. Seal Varney and risk him returning later, or kill him and doom humanity to the curse. In the end, Blade chooses sacrifice. He uses his own half-vampire blood to destabilize Varney's existence, tethering the curse to himself. The climax sees Blade fighting both Varney and Nyx in a collapsing cathedral, with rivers of blood flooding the chamber. In a desperate move, Blade channels his own vampiric side, unleashing superhuman ferocity. With the bloodsteel sword, he pierces Varney's heart while simultaneously severing Nyx's soul with Strange's help. Both ancient monsters collapse in a fiery explosion of blood magic. The skies clear, the blood storms vanish, and the cult disbands. Zoe survives her injuries, though scarred, and tells Blade his sacrifice has changed him. His vampiric hunger is now stronger than ever. Blade remains stoic, but there's unease in his eyes. He's becoming what he hates most. Shield Dark Ops approaches Zoe, offering her a position in their supernatural division. They want to use Blade as a weapon, but consider him too unstable. Blade refuses to be owned by anyone. He walks away into the shadows, vowing to continue his war on vampires alone, though the hunger gnaws at him. In a chilling post-credits scene, a cloaked figure arrives at the ruins of the cathedral. They scoop up a vial of Dracula's ashes, whispering incantations. The figure lowers his hood. It's Mephisto. He smiles and says, "The Blood King was only the beginning. Now the true war begins."